The government of Ghana, with the support of the World Bank and the USAID, presents GCAP Diaries. The Diaries showcases the success stories of the Ghana Commercial Agriculture Project being implemented by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
The project seeks to develop agricultural sector in Ghana by promoting inclusive commercial agriculture.
With the support of GCAP, we have a 500 metric ton capacity warehouse.
Kharma farms has benefited a lot from GCAP.
We train them, we educate them on how to go about their agronomic practices. That is what GCAP is all about.
This is something that we think is of great benefit to the agribusiness sector in this country.
Watch GCAP Diaries on GTV every Thursday at 6:30 p.m.
Agriculture plays a strong role in reducing poverty. The most compelling evidence for this comes from comparing China and Africa. China's poverty rate fell from more than 50% in 1981 to about 20% in 1991 and 5% in 2005. In 1981, China's poor outnumbered Africa's by a ratio of almost 4-to-1. Yet by 1996, Africa had more poor people than China. 500 million Chinese moved above the poverty line between 1981 and 2004, whilst 130 million more Africans moved below the poverty line in the same period. What caused this great achievement in China? A combination of crisis, political leadership, reforms, supportive conditions and managing the stakes between potential gainers and losers all played their role. As is often the case, these reforms grew out of a crisis of food insecurity, through which the leadership managed to carefully make a case for reform. Important preconditions assisted the process: prior investments in rural infrastructure and the high level of literacy among China's peasants helped. China's experience is fully consistent with the view that promoting agricultural and rural development is crucial to pro-poor growth, particularly at the early stages, given the potential for smallholder farming to rapidly absorb unskilled labor.
The government of Ghana, with the support of the World Bank and the USAID, presents GCAP Diaries. The Diaries showcases the success stories of the Ghana Commercial Agriculture Project being implemented by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
The project seeks to develop agricultural sector in Ghana by promoting inclusive commercial agriculture.
With the support of GCAP, we have a 500 metric ton capacity warehouse.
Kharma farms has benefited a lot from GCAP.
We train them, we educate them on how to go about their agronomic practices. That is what GCAP is all about.
This is something that we think is of great benefit to the agribusiness sector in this country.
Watch GCAP Diaries on GTV every Thursday at 6:30 p.m.
Kharma Farms Enterprise, a privately owned farm, is one of the farms GCAP is using to reform agriculture in Ghana. The farm is located in the Karaga district of the northern region. The farm has land acreage of 1,700 hectares, cultivating mainly rice, maize and soya bean. Alhaji Muhib Hussain, the managing director, who is also a trained teacher by profession, took to farming by coincidence. He narrates that he realized parents could not afford to provide the basic learning aids for their children because they had no economic power. He took it upon himself to acquire land for farming and encouraged parents to sign up to his outgrower scheme so they could earn some money from their produce. The farm has 1,400 outgrowers comprising 800 males and 600 females coming from about 30 communities.
The company used to help the outgrowers to get tractor service, get seed, get fertilizer, and after harvest, we also help the outgrowers for markets.
Kharma Farm's outgrower scheme became very popular with local farmers. A lot of farmers kept knocking on his doors for him to sign them on, but the company did not have the resources to increase the subscriber base. The company was faced with some challenges: lack of resources to increase their arable land size, lack of good storage facilities, and lack of technical know-how in cereal cultivation. The farm's many challenges stifled their growth and in turn that of their outgrowers. The farm lacked a storage facility to store harvested produce.
Storage facility was a problem for Kharma farms and its outgrowers, and also lack of inadequate equipment was also a problem. Land development was also a problem. So every year the number of farmers that apply, they will apply more than 2,000 farmers, but I could only pick the level of my capability and leave the rest. It was only after the intervention of GCAP, that was last year, which I could pick up to 1,500 plus farmers.
Consequently, the farm applied to GCAP for funding to develop an area of 188 hectares for both the nucleus farmer and outgrowers. This comprised uprooting of trees, removal of stumps, leveling and harrowing of the land. The funds were also used for the construction of a 200 metric ton capacity warehouse currently under construction. GCAP also provided training to both the nucleus farmer and its outgrowers in good agronomic practices. The outgrowers were also trained in basic business management and group dynamics that included conflict resolution, group formation, etc. The nucleus farmer was also trained on best practices in managing an agribusiness.
Kharma Farms has benefited a lot from GCAP because the money that I was to use to develop the land, that monies were used to help me another way, because GCAP has taken that cost. Since GCAP has taken that cost, that also pushed me to go in for satisfied seed and go in for TSP. It's a fertilizer for soya beans. And with that, because at first we used to get 2 bags from an acre, 3 bags from an acre. But for last season, which we just harvested, I think the highest had 12 bags from an acre, and the lowest had 6 bags from an acre.
Grants were awarded to farmers to help spur the growth of agribusinesses by addressing their self-identified crippling needs. The smallholder farmers are the ultimate beneficiaries. GCAP's model is to promote and facilitate the transfer of modern farming practices, knowledge and technology from nucleus agribusinesses to their smallholders.
The training benefited Kharma farms and its outgrowers very well, particularly concerning managerial skills. They did that to us. Bookkeeping, records keeping and other things. And it was my field officers, some of them were sent for that training. After the training, now my reports are just flowing without any problem.
Constraints addressed by GCAP in this first call included quality land development, irrigation systems, warehouses, pack houses, feeder roads, electricity or power connections, and capacity building of smallholder or outgrower farmers working with the applying nucleus farmers. Alabi Bote is the project coordinator of GCAP.
The concept is a nucleus outgrower, and we'll realize that he's already in line until the GCAP concept, working with outgrowers. He has the farm already established, working, and is cultivating the crops that GCAP is also supporting. He's one of the largest nucleus or off-takers in the Southern Zone, because he's working with 1,400 farmers. And under GCAP, cultivating 188 hectares for the agro-growers. This is somebody that we can also help to bring out the smallholders in the Southern Zone.
The government of Ghana, with the support of the World Bank and the USAID, presents GCAP Diaries. The Diaries showcases the success stories of the Ghana Commercial Agriculture Project being implemented by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
The project seeks to develop agricultural sector in Ghana by promoting inclusive commercial agriculture.
With the support of GCAP, we have a 500 metric ton capacity warehouse.
Kharma farms has benefited a lot from GCAP.
We train them, we educate them on how to go about their agronomic practices. That is what GCAP is all about.
This is something that we think is of great benefit to the agribusiness sector in this country.
Watch GCAP Diaries on GTV every Thursday at 6:30 p.m.
Kharma Farms Enterprise was successful in the application to GCAP. They were awarded a sum of $180,000 for land development, construction of a 200 metric ton capacity warehouse, and provision of technical support. Galina Okaite Aku, agribusiness analyst at GCAP, gives us an insight into Kharma Farms Enterprise proposal.
At the end of the first call of matching grants from GCAP, Kharma came up as one of the 31 grantees we supported and one of the 22 grantees in the Southern Zone that we supported. Kharma has a large number of outgrowers, which is exciting to us because our program actually is focused on outgrowers by using nucleus farmers like Kharma to reach out to the outgrowers. We gave him money to do land development, about 188 hectares of land. We also gave him money to build a warehouse, and of course we gave him management support. The management support was to help him upgrade his business operations so that they'll be able to implement the GCAP support very well.
As part of its implementation activities, outgrowers were given an average of 2 acres of developed land. Outgrowers now don't have to spend resources on developing land. The capacities of outgrowers have been enhanced through GCAP's funded training on good agronomic practices, group dynamics and formation, farming as a business, and bookkeeping.
That training also made them achieve a lot, and even I've also retrieved what is expected from the farmers. Usually we do to the farmers in kind, and also after harvest they pay back in kind. Sometimes the recovery looks so poor, but last year due to the training and then some interventions, we saw that what the outgrowers used to harvest, they harvest more than that. There was a relief on the farmers because the land development, land preparation, there was not to pay anything.
GCAP's intervention has been a game changer for Kharma Farms and its outgrowers. They now have access to developed land with no restrictions. The managing director can now sign on many more outgrowers onto the scheme. Trainees can now boast of improved and newly acquired skills in agronomy. Post-harvest losses will now be a thing of the past as work on the 200 metric ton capacity warehouse is fast progressing.
GCAP I am a soya beans farmer. Before GCAP came, I used to farm on 2 acres of land. Last year, we witnessed a lot of changes when GCAP came. GCAP gave us free land development and preparation. The only thing we now pay for are fertilizers, seed and agrochemicals. Before GCAP, we used to produce only 2 bags per the 2 acres of land. But after GCAP's training in agronomy, fertilizing, etc., we produced 10 bags of soya per the same acres of land last year. Currently, GCAP is constructing a warehouse at Kalaga, and when it's completed, we will get a spacious place to store our produce until the lean season to market our goods.
The government of Ghana, with the support of the World Bank and the USAID, presents GCAP Diaries. The Diaries showcases the success stories of the Ghana Commercial Agriculture Project being implemented by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
The project seeks to develop agricultural sector in Ghana by promoting inclusive commercial agriculture.
With the support of GCAP, we have a 500 metric ton capacity warehouse.
Kharma farms has benefited a lot from GCAP.
We train them, we educate them on how to go about their agronomic practices. That is what GCAP is all about.
This is something that we think is of great benefit to the agribusiness sector in this country.
Watch GCAP Diaries on GTV every Thursday at 6:30 p.m.
There has been a turnaround for female farmers. They now have the support they have always yearned for: equal access to inputs and arable land. The sky is now the limit for them. Increased productivity due to GCAP's intervention now means they have enough income to take care of their families. They don't have to rely on their husbands for income. Livelihood has been enhanced due to increased income and food security.
GCAP came in and provided some training last year. We were trained on effective planning methods, selection of seeds, application of fertilizer at all stages, and the use of other agrochemicals. In fact, the results was great. I harvested 10 bags of soya from that same acre of land. After the sales of the produce, I used part of the money to rebuild my house. I also bought a sewing machine for my daughter, who had just finished learning dressmaking. This year, another good thing has happened. GCAP through Kharma Farms has given us some support in the production of granite, and we are very hopeful we will produce very large yields. We thank GCAP for this intervention.
GCAP's intervention is highly talked of in the Gushegu, Karaga, Savlugu, Nantong and Nanumba North districts of the northern region. Farmers have seen increased yields in their harvest, hence making them profitable. Livelihoods have seen a major boost.
The intervention of GCAP has brought us a lot of changes in our work. As a leader of the group, I was a role model to the members and also tapped some information from my colleagues. After GCAP's training, things changed. From my original 2-acre land, I was able to harvest 24 bags. Women in the group harvested 10 to 11 bags from an acre of land. Women in the group are highly impressed because there will be an ideal storage space to prevent selling our produce for less. Last year, for instance, some of the young outgrowers were able to buy their own motorbikes due to the high soybeans prices. This means that with an effective warehouse system, we can make more money. We will really wish to thank GCAP for this initiative.